and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where yes, it is the international break, but we are still going with the news. And today, we've got some really interesting quotes that need discussing, especially in reaction and response to those Hansi Flick words about egos, about playing as a team again, and maybe things that are lacking in this current Barca right now. And well, Pedri has responded to those Flick words, and so has Lamine Yamal, who also spoke there about his desire again to score more goals and improve his goal scoring. And we're going to be talking about everything that they had to say and more, because Fermin Lopez and his quotes are also on the way for you, along with the injury suffered by Alejandro Balde just this morning. That is coming up too as well. So come on, and let's do it. I also do want to say, guys, to keep your eyes on the channel tomorrow, because I have a different kind of style of video coming up for you. We're going to be taking a closer look into La Liga's summer transfer window in comparison there to not only the Premier League, but all major leagues around the world. And it's going to be a kind of serious video, but in a bit of a fun way as well. You will see, and I hope that you're going to enjoy it. But if we do kick off here with Fermin Lopez, because I was actually looking forward to hearing a little bit from him. Of course, it was a really hectic end to the summer window. We know that Chelsea did make an official bid for him. It was a ludicrous one, just 40 million euros. And yeah, it's embarrassing that they thought that would be enough to tempt Barca into selling him. But I thought it was interesting to hear from Fermin with regard to his preference this summer, what he's feeling, and especially given all the different kinds of rumours that we've been hearing about him. He said, "My priority, it has always been Barcelona. This has been my dream ever since I was a kid. It's always a compliment that there is interest from other clubs, but the truth is that I always wanted to stay here and succeed here at Barca. I love this club." And I think that's the beauty there of players like Fermin. There was never any doubt for me there. There was never any doubt at all that this is where he wants to be. You see that when he's on the field. You see there the passion, the intensity that he plays with. And of course, these are all things that we're looking for at Barca. We want players who are desperate to be here, who want to play not only for the badge, but also for their teammates as well. And I think it's great news now that this saga, it's behind us. You know, Hansi Flick has been really looking forward to the end of the transfer window for a reason. He wants to shut out all of this noise. He wants to end all the speculation and ultimately now fully focus on the job in hand. But I did think it was interesting that Fermin was asked there by Mundo Deportivo, it was, doing the interview, what about these rumours with Gavi? You know, how is your relationship with Gavi? Have you heard about what's being said in the media? And Fermin, I believe here, really trying to crush those, because he said Gavi has been my friend ever since we were kids. I knew him from Real Betis. I also then joined La Masia at 12, and I knew him very well there. He's like a brother. We've shared a lot of moments. People always speculate that's not going to change, but he's still my friend, and we have a good relationship as always. So again here, there have been lots of rumours in the media. You know, has there been some falling out? Has there been something going on there with their girlfriends? You know, we don't know. We'll never know. But ultimately, it's just time to move forward now. It's time to move forward together as a team, leave all of this baggage, all of this speculation behind, full focus on what we need to do, and it all starts and ends working as a team. Which then brings us back onto the topic of those Hansi Flick words, because I do believe, guys, they were incredibly powerful right before the international break as well. We've got a long time here to think about what these words mean from Hansi Flick when he's talking about egos, when he's talking about the team losing sight maybe of what made them so successful last season, that hunger, that intensity, that work together, as I say, as a team. Those are all the elements now that we need to bring back and have to be here again in this campaign. And maybe in the first few games of the season, they have been absent. This has looked like a team that's a little bit disorientated with what it once was and what it knows it has to be successful. Now, it was interesting, I feel, that Pedri was asked directly about Hansi Flick's words. He was actually asked, you know, when Flick is talking about egos, who do you think he's talking about there? Do you know? Did he tell you? And Pedri actually said, I don't know who he's talking about, you know, specifically, but he may tell us after the international break. And Pedri, though, did go on to say, last year, we all played for each other. We did not play for personal glory. He said that's how teams win titles. They have to leave the egos aside. So it was almost as though here, Pedri is echoing the sentiments that we heard from Hansi Flick. He is saying, last season, we played together. We didn't play for personal glory. We weren't thinking about our own objectives, our own goals in the game. The best teams, they work together. They leave those egos aside. Look, for instance, at Paris Saint-Germain last season as well. They were a team who also did that incredibly effectively for year upon year upon year. They had lots of egos, lots of big personalities, lots of players that maybe didn't combine as they should. They left all of that behind last season, and look what they were able to achieve. And I also thought it was great to hear, by the way, Pedri was asked basically in one word, describe Hansi Flick, describe what he means to you, describe the kind of character that he is. What did Pedri say? He said father. He actually said there, father. And I thought that was really special, because that relationship between Flick and Pedri, I mean, it's been amazing, hasn't it? Not only off the field there, I think they really do get on well. They understand each other well. Everything is all fantastic between the two of them. But what Flick has been able to do with Pedri on the field there, it's been incredible to see the elevation in his level, to see the consistency in his game, to see the physical improvement as well in Pedri. It's been amazing to watch. It is a joy to watch Pedri every time that he's out there, and Flick has played a massive part of that, and Pedri is only too well aware of that. And this is why I see Pedri as one of those leaders now at Barcelona. Yes, he's not old, he's not a veteran, he's not one of those players, well into their 20s. But he is Flick's voice out there. He understands him perfectly. He illustrates what a Flick player should do, the way they should play, the way they should conduct themselves. And Pedri's definitely a leader now. In this dressing room, he's proven that. And he's amazing. However, guys, we do also need to talk about what Lamine Yamal thought of Hansi Flick's words, because I thought it was very interesting as well. He elaborated even more so, really, on what Flick had to say there about egos, about the drop points that we suffered against Rayo Vallecano before the break. And Yamal, he did say, after a draw, you come out angry. Of course you're going to be angry, because at Barca, you always have to win. But he says, I don't think it has to do with that. He doesn't believe that it's down there to egos that Flick has said. He said he's right about the mistakes, but we have got 7 points out of 9 and on difficult pitches. So I think there's a lot to unpack there already. He's saying ultimately, I don't think it's about egos. I don't think it's really that's the root of the problem. We are making mistakes, but we have had to play on some really, really difficult pitches, which I can understand that. We certainly have done. And Yamal also went on to say, people don't consider that we haven't even played at our own ground yet. And it was more that it was now a game against Rayo. We haven't started the season with the intensity that we had last season, and there was a lack of concentration at the end. And I think that's interesting, because on the one hand, Yamal is saying, look, egos aren't really part of it. But I think then he actually goes on to basically agree with Hansi Flick's words, because he says, we haven't started the season with the intensity that we had last season. We haven't really been as focused, as switched on, as motivated maybe as we were at the start of last campaign. So I think that Yamal, even though he may not believe so, he is actually agreeing very much so with what Hansi Flick is saying. He said it's about getting back to our level. It's about winning the next game. I don't think it's about slacking off or a lack of hunger. We are a young team with a lot of desire for more, because we haven't won that many things yet. The league is very long, and you have to be consistent. And I think those are some very important words there as well from Yamal, because actually I think the one line there that really stands out to me, him ultimately saying, we're a young team, we have a lot of desire, we are going to bring the hunger again, because we haven't won that much yet. And I think that's a good thing to hear from a player who wants more. And that should be the case for every single player in this Barca squad. Because yes, last season they were fantastic. Nobody has taken that away from them. We are looking at a top team here. We're looking at absolutely incredible players. But they can still do so much more. They can still win more. They can still achieve many, many more trophies. They haven't done anything yet. There's so much more room to grow and improve for them. And speaking of that improvement there, Yamal has been very open this season about the fact that he wants to score more goals, that he wants to have there more of an impact in the final third in terms of goal scoring. And again, I think these words, they're very, very interesting, and understanding really what the mindset of Yamal is, because he openly said that assists, they come naturally to me. It's not something that I force, it's just my style of play. But he said with goals, in recent years, I've maybe let that slide a bit. Now I'm focusing more on that because goals are more important. When I reach a level, I try to move on to the next one. And right now, that's scoring as many goals as possible, always whilst helping the team. And again, I think there's lots to unravel, really, in that quote there. Because on the one hand, I understand that Lamine Yamal wants to score goals. And I understand him there saying, look, they're more important. They are ultimately the thing that wins games for teams. You know, you've got to score goals. It's said to be the hardest thing to do in football. But at the same time, you know, the way that he says there, that assists come naturally to him because it's his style of play, I think with Lamine, he's that good. You know, he's got that much ability. He's got that much quality. I am sure that in time, and probably very, very soon, the goals will come naturally too. And I think that's the key here. I understand that he wants to score more. I believe that he will score more. I think the goals will just go up and up and up and the numbers will get better and better and better. But I think the key here with Lamine, he doesn't need to force it. You know, he doesn't need to be forcing shots at goal, you know, lots and lots and lots of shots to try and get these goals and really try and force the issue. He's so good. I think even looking at last season, he took up phenomenal positions. He gets himself in all the right areas. He's got a great understanding of the game. The chances will come for him. He doesn't have to force the issue here. He doesn't have to really think over and over and over about goals. They will arrive. You know, even last season, with a bit more clinical nature in front of goal, he would have had way, way, way bigger numbers, and they will come. You know, he's still young, he's still learning, and I just think it's important here for him, don't get hung up on goals. Don't think that it's the be-all, end-all. It's your overall game. It's the way, as a player, that you can do everything. Because you also don't want to be predictable. You don't want to be the kind of player who opponents are going to shut down, they're going to pile up on, they're going to double up on because they want to stop the shots. You can also cross the ball. You can also take them on. You can also do so many different things to help the team in many different ways. He's not a one-dimensional player. He's not all about one aspect of the game. Yamal is so good. And in the end, I believe it can all come naturally to him. So I just think right here, he's got aspiration. He's got goals. Of course, you want players to be ambitious. You want players to be striving to improve. That's a good thing. We all said that Yamal needs to improve the finishing, that he can score more goals. He's only recognising that here. But he's got it all. It's all in there, and it will all come out. And again, it's about Flick here. It's about those around him just making sure that he's getting the right coaching, that he is being kept on the nice path, because as we know, the sky is the limit for this young man. He is different class. He is unbelievable, and we will see the best of him. And I believe we will see the best of this whole team. Maybe, just maybe, that Rio game and Flick's words after it is the wake-up call early in the season here that we needed. But yeah, guys, here I was, making my video, editing it here this afternoon. You know, everything's fine, everything's okay, trying to keep myself in good spirits after the drop points at the weekend. Check the latest updates. Of course we have an injury. How do we have an injury? Nobody's even playing. And it's a player here who's not even on international duty. Somehow Balde wasn't called up by Spain, which in itself is ridiculous, by the way. But in training this morning, he has suffered now a hamstring injury. And it's not a massively serious one, but it is a bit of a problem. He is apparently going to miss right now 3 weeks of action. Now, of course, we're lucky on the one hand that a lot of that time is going to be taken up by the international break, but not quite all of it. He is still going to miss maybe a game or so. We have to wait and see exactly how he recovers. But I just think already we're very early in the season here. The defensive depth, it is already under pressure. We are already really putting a strain on that defensive line. Of course, we got Gerard Martin, who can deputise at left-back as well, but he's already being asked to be a backup centre-back. So now you're asking an awful lot of him. You know, you're trying to depend on him. What happens if he was to pick up some kind of problem? You've got Joffre, of course, who Hansi Flick would like to count on in the first team. It's going to be a big step up for him. We've got high hopes for him, and we may well see him appear in the coming games here, because Balde, yeah, he's going to miss a bit of time. That is disappointing. It's not what you wanted. It's not what we wanted to see today in an international break. I think we thought we were safe from injuries for a minute. But yeah, to read that right here, the immediate reaction, it is disappointing. So yeah, guys, with all of that considered right here in today's video, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. First of all, on your reaction there to the words of Pedri, his response to Hansi Flick's words, and as well the words of Lamine Yamal. What do you make of all of that? Let me know your opinions. And also now as well, that injury to Alejandro Balde, who would you like to step up in his place? And like I say, please do keep your eye on the channel tomorrow. Get ready for that big La Liga video. It is going to be on the way for you, and I thank you guys for watching here today, for all of your great support. I'll be back soon, but until next time, as always, Vesca, El Barça.